I'm going to go through King Solomon's business blueprint for solo entrepreneurs, any entrepreneur really for that matter, but biblical wisdom for modern wealth and freedom. And King Solomon, I mean, if you don't know who he was a man from ancient times, noted in the Bible. His net worth on the high end today would be about 2.2 trillion. If you go on the low side, it'd be like 100 billion. Could be, a conservative estimate would be 500 billion. But on the high end, 2.2 trillion. He was considered the wisest man in history. He was the son of David, king of Israel, built the temple, an author of Proverbs and Ecclesiastes. And that's significant as we get to some more things later on. But the wealthiest man in history didn't ask for money. He asked for wisdom, and everything else followed. In 1 Kings 3:5-13, God appeared to Solomon in a dream at Gibeon and asks what he desires. Solomon requests an understanding heart, or discerning heart in some translations, to govern God's people wisely and distinguish between right and wrong. Pleased with this selfless request, God grants him wisdom along with wealth and honor, noting that Solomon did not ask for a long life or riches or to be able to defeat his enemies. You can read those particular verses for yourself in the scriptures. It also is cross-referenced in 2 Chronicles 1:7-12. It describes the same event with Solomon asking for wisdom and knowledge to lead the people. God responds by giving him wisdom and knowledge plus wealth, possessions, and honor, as he did not request riches or victory over his enemies. Now, the core principle in all of these is wisdom is greater than wealth, and wisdom is the principal thing. So if we just hit that Proverbs 4:7, we go and do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. And you can go through and read the rest of that in context for yourself, but it's Proverbs 4:7. And then that's the first core principle in that under is just wisdom. So he, like I said, he wanted to understand his audience. He wanted to develop high trust solutions for his people, and then he leveraged tools to scale. And we'll talk about that a little bit here in a second. But that's the first one, is to seek wisdom first. And then what he also then did, and the second principle, is to develop revenue streams. I had all kinds of, whether it was through trade, taxes, what you could, when it says tribute, you could think of it in terms of consulting his peers, but he also accumulated gold and to put his, like I said, his wealth in perspective. It was 666 talents worth of gold or a year, or 25 tons worth of gold a year. And that's 1 Kings 10:14 and 15. If we hit that, the weight of the gold that Solomon received was 666 talents, not including the revenues from merchants and traders and from all Arabianite kings and the governors of the territories. So there you go. So you can equate to that to be multiple streams of income. And so what you want to do yourself is develop digital products, services, and affiliate income, automation income, and it all boiled down to multiple streams with one mission: to honor and serve God. And he developed systems and scale, being the third principle. And we hit 1 Kings 4:7. That's over here. 1 Kings 4:7. And we look at that verse. It says Solomon had 12 district governors over all Israel, who supplied provisions for the king and the royal household. Each one had to provide supplies for 1 month in the year. And that equated to having a store and a surplus, so that whenever bad times came, they would be able to get through it. But in terms of systems and scale, think of using AI, Grok, ChatGPT, Manus, Claude, Poe, you name it, Copilot, if you're a fan of Microsoft, but use automations, AI tools, VAs. You can get people to help you by using economic arbitrage in third world countries, like, for instance, the Philippines. The economy over there and the value of the dollar relative to their money is very significant. So in order to be able to do things relatively inexpensive for you here, you can reward someone handsomely by hiring a Filipino VA that's very fluent in English and be able to get things done at scale. And then also tools like Go High Level are invaluable whenever it comes to being able to go high level school and to bring everything together. And so this one of the things that you want to do is then use your influence. And what do I mean by that? Since Solomon wrote Ecclesiastes and Proverbs, he was the author of these scriptures. What it ended up doing, and not only that, was he an incredible communicator, be able to tell stories and speak to crowds. And what that ended up doing is you could equate that to, if I go back to the right spot, content. So who was the Queen of Sheba? The Queen of Sheba ended up hearing about Solomon as a result of his works, and what ended up happening is she heard about the fame of Solomon, his relationship to the Lord. She came to test Solomon with hard questions, arriving in Jerusalem with a very great caravan with camel spices and large quantities of gold and precious stones. She came to Solomon and talked with him about all that she had on her mind. Solomon answered all her questions. Nothing was too hard for a king to explain to her. When the Queen of Sheba saw all the wisdom that Solomon had, and the palace he had, the food on his table, and the singing in his vessels, the attending servants in his robes, but she was overwhelmed. She said to the king, "The report I heard in my own country about your achievements and your wisdom is true, but I did not believe these things until I came and saw them with my own eyes." So then she ended up paying tribute or consulted with him, and that income it turned out to be significant. So you can go and keep reading that for yourself. But 1 Kings 1 through 10, 1 through 9, and you can read the full chapter there. So then, so it equates to content, creating your voice, your thoughts, your wisdom, your experiences, your perceptions, your perspectives, your insights, and sharing that with everyone and anyone who cares to listen. And you can develop an audience of your own that's going to be willing to take into those and listen to those insights that you have. And then the fifth principle, that being the fourth principle, creating content, if you will. And the fifth principle is building a legacy. He built the temple in Ecclesiastes 7 through 12. We can look that up. And it's just basically wisdom preserves those who have it. And at the end of the day, you want to develop the content, build the websites, and that could be your legacy too. So here are your 5 principles. Wisdom first, develop some revenue streams, develop systems and leverage content that will lead to influence, and then you develop your legacy thinking. I hope this video serves you. I know it put Finley to sleep here, but I'll share you Finley. And if you care to join the newsletter, and I hope that's going to go over very well, click the link below, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.